That's right. This is Bonsai with Lowe. And we're going to do a little repotting today. I've got this Fukien Tea Tree. I forget the scientific name, but you can just call it a Fukien tree. I think I've also heard it called a Carmona. I picked this up at a Lowe's for like 14 bucks last year. I put it in this little pot, beautiful glazed pot. But it's got this attached drip tray deal that I'm not a big fan of. But either way, it's been sitting here about a year. It's been growing like crazy. I mean, this thing was like this big, and then it's been sprouting. I've twisted it up. I've done all sorts of stuff to it. So what I'll do today, I'm going to defoliate this, and then we're going to repot this, do a little bit of prune work, and I'm going to be actually putting it in this cascade pot that I got, and it's hot. So I'm thinking it's going to do like a little cascade action. Maybe something like this. I don't know. We'll have to see what it wants to do when we get into there. So let's get to it. All right, first things first, we're going to remove it from its pot. I'm going to use probably a chopstick, maybe the fork. We'll get into it in a second here. All right, so let's see how this is going to go here. Try to break it off from the pot. A lot of that, I'll probably reuse some of that in this repot here. Let's see how we got here. Actually, I used a lot of bonsai soil in that one. Alright, so let's start from the middle and brush out. A lot of nice healthy roots on it. It's not as much roots as I thought it would make in a year. And it makes me think that I may have done this 6 months ago or so. But this is the season right now. I mean, they're about to wake up. I've been keeping my tropical trees in my garage whenever the temperature is dropping below 50. I push it sometimes. 45 is about as low as I want it to go. Last night it got dang near 34 degrees on the other bench, but the tropical bench tends to be a little warmer. I think it's because it's blocked by the fence behind it, and the tropical bench is right here behind me. Most of my tropical trees are back there. I've got a couple other guys. It's the tropicals and the rehab cases, or just flat out of room on the conifer bench there. Okay, we're looking pretty cool here. Let's see what we got. Now what I should have done here was probably defoliated this thing first. So we'll get to that there. So, it's looking pretty good. Let's see how this will look in the pot. I want to probably plant it pretty low. We'll work on the canopy in a little bit here, but let's get her in the pot. I'm going to trim some of these roots. Got some nice long roots here. I'm going to prune those down back a bit. See how that one goes up and over? Get rid of that one. We want to get rid of any roots that are growing up or straight down, crossing over. We may be able to fix crossover ones if they're very wanted. We want to just try to make a nice radial root base here. Can you guys see that there? I'm going to get closer. It's looking pretty good down here. these longings off here. Give it some room to grow. Nice. Alright. So we got a long guy here. We'll cut it right about there. Maybe a little further back because that nub was pointed straight up. Little guy, he's a little bit of annoying. We'll get him down. I think that's a good start. That's a little long. Let's go ahead and cut that back. Probably here. Now these guys will take the punishment. These guys will be just fine. Okay. So now that we've got the pot, we're going to get the anchor in. The anchor here is just to tie down the root ball so that it doesn't fall. We are using a cascade, making a cascade, so there's definitely that possibility. So I've got this aluminum wire. It's going to pass through my pot, which already has a screen in it, ready to go. And that should be enough tension there. Alright, so I'm going to use some bonsai soil here from BonsaiYEAH Bonsai Supply. The fresh stuff. Just place about halfway here first and just see. We're going to cut some more of these roots here. I want it sort of low in this pot. I want it really dipped over. I don't want this to touch here, and I sort of want this corner to be matching with that corner. So it's out to the front a little bit. I think it's going to be nice. So I need a little bit more soil. It's a little too much. Back. I also got to find the front of this pot, which I haven't done just yet. So I've got some possibilities. I got this nice blue. It's more blue. This one's more orange. It's like a combination of both. I like this side. It's got less flaws, less bubbles. Right about here. I think that's good. Secure the root ball. Ugh. Don't have proper pliers for this just yet. Just gonna go ahead and do that. I should be able to lift up the bonsai from there. That looks good, feels good. I'm going to get the rest of the soil that I have in here. We're just going to fill in the holes. Fill in the little gaps between the roots so that every possible areas, there's just no air pockets. That's what we're essentially doing here. I'm going to go ahead and top it off with this old soil that I had. This soil still has a little bit of organics in it, which I think it'll be okay. I think this plant's more tropical. It wants that kind of thing going on. A little bit more humidity in this thing. We're just going to stop just right at the lip here, maybe about half an inch. Yeah, 3/4. We'll say 3/4. But I mean, essentially, we just repotted this Fukien tree here in this beautiful cascade pot. Alright, so let's go over defoliation here now. We're going to defoliate. So we did a lot of root pruning. This is already budding. It's growing again, so it's safe to do this, but we don't want it to focus on all these leaves right now. We want it to focus on making some roots. So what we're going to do is we're going to defoliate. So it's very simple. We're just going to simply pluck off the leaves one at a time here. and keeping just the new growth going. Just the little buds. Now last year this guy produced berries, which was really cool. Little red berries. I wasn't sure if you can eat them. I didn't even Google it. I could have, but I decided not to. Not to eat them either. I'm just not, I mean, I'm curious what it'll be, but I tried some Barbados cherry last year. It didn't taste so good. It wasn't sweet at all. And the berry was so small. It really didn't matter. We're also going to do a little bit of pruning to this bad boy. Now, this is its first defoliation of the year. And why we defoliate, there's a couple reasons, and I went over the reason of roots. The second reason that you defoliate is so that you can see the branches. You get a better feel of what you're cutting and what you're pruning off. I'll be back once I have this defoliated. Well, apparently, in the Philippines, they would eat these leaves to aid in toothaches. Alright, so it is now defoliated partially. I got rid of all the bigger leaves, more mature leaves, and just left room for the big stuff that's about to grow. Well, actually, they're going to be small. We're going to do some shaping of these branches here to better fit the style. Let's get into it. All right, it is now October 2021. The last time we saw this plant, this tree, this Carmona, this Fukien tree was in February. That is 8 months. That's right. That is almost 2 full hands of growing season, and I have not even trimmed it. The last time we saw this, as you last saw here, we completely defoliated this tree. We took it out of its training pot and into this beautiful cascade pot where it sat here for 8 months in the greenhouse, getting sun, getting moisture. That greenhouse, I'm telling you, is a game changer for me. I bought a cheap, I believe it was $70 to $80 greenhouse, 4x6 or something like that, and I put it in my backyard. There's a lot of wind, so I put those stakes down like a tent. It is secure. We've had lots of winds. It's staying up, and I have lots of plants that are thriving in there, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without the greenhouse. And this is one of the ones that have been sitting in there, hanging out, waiting for today, because today we're going to make some really tough decisions on the future. Now, I have a plan of a cascade. The cascade happens. It's pouring out of the pot. That's what we want. But if we look close, and if we can go to camera 1 here, if we look close at this guy here, we've got 2 splitting lines here. I'm going to move these leaves so that you can get a better look. So we have our trunk. It travels up. It takes a little turn. and then it goes up once more, and then it splits, it bifurcates. We have one line, it goes straight down here, and it's sort of crowded here with some leaves, which is great because it's healthy, it's very healthy. But now we have a line, and it's now traveling down this way. We have another line that travels up, and if you can back up here, Brandon. Now we have two divisions here. Now, if we were to go with this being our prune, imagine all this is gone, and now this is our main guy, right? That's our main bit. And I think if we were to compact the foliage here somehow, maybe in a triangular conical shape, I think that would be great. Conversely, if we got rid of this top one, that would extend this cascade out, and thus making it further out. Imagine this is all gone, right? From right here, it's cut right here. And we can take the foliage from here and perhaps get a conical shape of that somehow. Maybe coming down, you see we've got natural lines right here and right there. And so we can make that conical shape. We can eliminate this long branch. It's just like, hey, how you doing? Okay, I just don't know what to do with this here just yet. I know what to do. We need to cut this bottom or this top branch. Text the number on the screen and we'll take a live poll. We don't have a text number. All right, so I'm gonna have to make the decision on my own. It's unfortunately how it's gonna be. And I think I have a good idea. Now, I don't think I'm gonna go with the long cascade. Instead, I think I want to go with the curve that goes into a U-turn, that goes trying to, not straight up, but at an angle. I think it's a beautiful angle. The only way I can really show you, and can you bring the camera down just a little bit so we can see the bottom of the pot just a little bit so we can get this foliage down here? That's great. We're going to get my concave cutters here. Beautiful. And I'm going to go, yeah, did you want to get in there? There he is, right there. We're going to give it a good flush cut right down here. I don't know if you can see that. And I'll tip it up. I'm going to give it a cut right at this branch right there. That's where we're going to go. That's where we're going to cut. And then we're going to plant it in some soil and give it some root hormone, and I'm going to regrow it so I'm not losing anything. If anything, I've just made two plants. It's the beauty of bonsai. It's the beauty of gardening. These things just reproduce by themselves. You just cut a little bit off, give it some hormone, put it in some soil, and it makes another one. Okay, we're gonna do an experiment here on the show. I'm gonna cut off my finger. We're gonna put it in some soil. We're gonna see if it regrows a new me. Anyone down for that? So this is where I'm going to do the cut. Right here. Let's get that out of the way. Right there at that joint. Here we go. You guys ready? I'm nervous. And I'm going to push it up against there. And here we go. Squeeze. Oh, and there it is. Oh my goodness. It has lost so much weight. And I have a beautiful cutting. Now, there's a lot more foliage, I think, probably on this. I don't know, it's a pretty even bag. This, I've just taken away half of this health. And we don't want to stress this tree out too much. I'd say we took a good half of the foliage off. And traditionally, from what I understand, you don't want to take more than 30% off. From my experience with these types of trees, Fukien tree, ficus, they act very similar. You can cut them down super hard and they come right back. So I'm hoping that that's going to do the same here. And now look at the line we've created here. I think if we have this here, we've got this kink. Now I don't like that it almost looks like it's 90-degree angle. It almost looks like it is, but it's got a slight curve right here, comes up and then 90-degree, straight down and straight up. But I like that it's doing like the worm. Don't you like that?
It's doing its thing. It's in motion. That's what I like about this angle here. So that being said, now we can start looking at the actual branching here. If we look at all these leaf clusters, remember, these leaf clusters will either stay little clusters or they're going to branch out. So wherever you see a clump of leaves, imagine that that's going to keep growing outwards. And that's going to be a branch. So do we want branches in this intersection, like right here? Do we want to see this U shape that I've created here? It's very unusual. This is two 90-degree angles. Can you go to camera 1 and look at this 2 90-degree angles? This is not normal. This is not something you'll see in bonsais. This is not a natural position or even anything that a bonsai would be. Yeah, there you go. It comes out, takes a 90-degree angle, and then makes another 90-degree angle to go straight up. Scoot this guy over. There you go. There's a good view. So it goes straight down, kinks over 90 degrees, and then 90 degrees up. I don't know if that looks that bad. Honestly, see, if I get rid of these two lower branches, and perhaps I may keep these two, bring them out a little bit. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll get rid of this that's growing on the outside of that curve so we can see that kink there. Now, don't kink shame this bonsai here. I'll tell you that much. It's not the prettiest bonsai I've ever seen. It really isn't. I've put a lot of love and time into this. So, we're doing it. I mean, that 90-degree kink up here and then down here. There's 3 90-degree angles almost in this thing, and I don't know if it's pretty. This is the struggle that I'm finding with bonsai. Ooh, wait a minute. What do we have here? It's a different way of looking at it here. So before we had where we can definitely see a lot of this trunk. This trunk is coming up 90 degree, 90 degree. We talked about. It's talked about. But look at what happens when we shift it over here. Ah, it's a little different. It's got a different feel. A whole different feel. It's not so dramatic after all. What I can do now is I can take this and we can trim these down. We got to trim them down just to get started, just to see what's going on here. Just to see what's going on. So let's go ahead and get the concave cutters out once more. And we're going to start with these longer guys here. Where are we at? There we are. I'm bringing it down to where I see the most collected leaves here. You see they're sort of spread out. You know, normal 3 leaves on each little node. Over here we have a lot more closely grouped together. I'm just going to go right there and giving it about a little less than half before we knock it right out. That just needs to go. I want to see that U-turn a little more, and it's a little. Oh, that's a bit bulbous there. I'm going to cut a lot of that off. Yeah, there we go. That would create some crazy inverse taper, and we're already sort of getting that here. I've done a lot of pruning on this already. It's healing very nicely in some areas. I think I like, it's not quite over to my left. It's not a 90-degree angle. Instead, it's more like it's pointing a little bit this way. Maybe a little less than 45 degrees. It's got a little bit of a reaching over at you angle here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prune a little bit more off here. Just these long shoots. We want to get rid of these long shoots. I'll use my pruners here. I want to take them down, like I said, to where I see more clumps of leaves instead of these elongated leaf nodes of 3 there. And I've got one more here. There's actually a nice little flower growing on it. The Carmona Retusa, the Fukien tree, will grow these sweet little, let's go to camera 3 there, the main camera, and zoom really in, and I can get this. The Carmona Retusa grows these little flowers here. Those flowers eventually will turn into little berries. Let's continue to prune. We're just cutting down to the biggest clump. This one is, I cut that one earlier, but I think I can cut down a little more. And let's take a good look at this. I like it right here, and then just a little over. So look, we're starting to get some padding happening where we got a nice pad up here. I'd like to have another pad probably over here and maybe over here, and I can do that all with wiring. This particular tree has been wired in the past. It had one wiring job, and it's not sat in wiring for a very long time, for over a year now. And so I'm debating or not whether I should just completely defoliate this and so I can get a better look at the branch structure. But it is the middle of October. There's probably a month left of hot weather. It's going to be in and out of the cold stuff. This does sit in a greenhouse, and I'm going to continue to grow it over the winter. We'll come back with an update. I think I definitely want to get rid of this little bit of foliage down there where it splits off and bifurcates. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we'll get that off. Okay. I like that. I like that. Maybe get this little bit off there too. Okay, great. Wonderful. And maybe I can bring this up. I don't know. I don't want to do any wiring to it today. All right. Well, we've put a lot of steps into this. It's got a lot of work still to do, but we can't rush art. We do a little bit at a time. We keep our eye on it. We do more to it. We keep our eye on it. And I think what we've done here is enough. We don't want to stress the tree out. I care for this tree, and I sure as heck do not want to take all of its branches off. We can do that with the leaves because that'll come right back, but I think that's looking good. Look at that. Now maybe if I had, it extends down a little more, and it's just missing that little part of the triangle. You see that? It just needs a little bit more of a triangle. That would be beautiful. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. We really enjoy making it for you. If you like our content, please keep watching. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, be cool, stay hip, and get yourself a hobby. See you guys next time.